Picture this, marching for dozens of kilometers under a blazing sun, carrying nearly 30 kilograms of weapons, armor, and a shield. And when darkness finally comes, no rest. You dig, you build camp, you stay alert. That was the everyday reality of a Roman legionary. But before any battle was fought, before any sword was drawn, something else had to come first. Food. Eating in the Roman army wasn't simply about staying alive. It was discipline. It was strategy. It was survival. At the heart of the Roman military diet was one ingredient above all else: wheat, known as frumentum. It could make up as much as 75% of a soldier's total rations. Each man received his grain raw. Using small portable mills, he ground it himself and turned it into something edible. A thick porridge, flatbreads cooked directly on hot stones, or a hard, twice-baked biscuit called bucellatum. That biscuit was made from nothing more than flour, water, and salt. It was so dense that soldiers often had to soak it in wine or water just to chew it. But that hardness was the point. Bucellatum could last for weeks. Perfect for long campaigns far from any supply line. Barley was a different story entirely. It was animal feed. And if a soldier was caught slacking or breaking discipline, his wheat ration was swapped for barley. This punishment, known as frumentum, wasn't just about food. It was public humiliation. To eat barley was to wear your disgrace openly. While grain kept soldiers moving, meat was what they craved. And it was never guaranteed. Legions on campaign couldn't depend on regular supply lines from Rome. They had to go out and get it. Hunting was one option. Deer, wild boar, hares, and rabbits were common prey. But hunting wasn't just about filling stomachs. It demanded focus, teamwork, and endurance. The same qualities needed in battle. Come back empty-handed, and you went hungry. When a legion took a village or city, livestock was among the first things seized. Cattle, goats, sheep, and above all, pigs. Pigs were the Roman soldiers' favorite. They were plentiful, easy to manage, and almost nothing went to waste. The meat was salted, smoked, or made into sausages, bacon, and ham. Even the fat was saved for cooking. Meat also carried deeper meaning. Before major battles, soldiers performed the suo vitorilia, the ritual sacrifice of a pig, a sheep, and a bull. It was a plea to the gods, an act of purification. And afterward, the meat was shared among the troops. A communal meal on the eve of battle. An army constantly on the move needed food that was simple, durable, and easy to prepare. Legumes delivered exactly that. Lentils, peas, and beans were staples, especially for lower-ranking soldiers. Rich in plant protein, easy to store, and simple to cook. Often thrown into soups or stews alongside wheat. Vegetables were rarely mentioned in ancient accounts, but archaeological evidence tells a different story. Excavations of Roman military camps have turned up remains of leeks, cabbage, onions, turnips, and garlic. Hardy, transportable, and sometimes grown right next to camp, they provided vitamins, fiber, and protection against digestive illness. A genuine threat during long campaigns. Fruit was rarer still, more of an occasional luxury than a staple. Dried figs, dates, and raisins were the most practical options. Lightweight, calorie-dense, and capable of lifting morale when little else could. The historian Polybius tells of King Philip V, who, during a food crisis, managed to distribute dried figs among his men. It wasn't a feast, but that small gesture was enough to restore their spirit. One of the most practical and underappreciated foods in a soldier's kit was cheese. It needed no fire, no pot, no preparation. It could be eaten mid-march, on guard duty, or during a brief rest. Made from cow, goat, or sheep milk, it delivered protein and calcium in a compact, durable package. Some Roman camps have even yielded cheese presses and tools, suggesting soldiers made their own when the pace of the campaign allowed it. Self-sufficient, simple, and sustaining. Cheese fit military life perfectly. In the field, drinking wasn't just comfort. It was survival. Every legionary carried a water container. Camps were deliberately positioned near rivers, springs, or wells the soldiers dug themselves. But water in unfamiliar territory was dangerous. Drinking untreated water could mean intestinal disease. And a sick soldier is a useless one. The Roman solution was posca, a mixture of water and sour wine vinegar, sometimes flavored with herbs, honey, or spices. To Rome's upper classes, posca was a peasant's drink, something beneath them. To the legions, it was essential. The vinegar killed bacteria and parasites, reduced the risk of infection, and served as a natural preservative. Modern research has confirmed what Roman soldiers discovered through experience. Posca also provided antioxidants and a dose of vitamin C, refreshing, practical, and effective. The ancient world's answer to an energy drink. Two products, above all others, made long campaigns possible: salt and olive oil. Salt preserved meat and fish, extending their shelf life across weeks of marching. Without it, supplies rotted. Without supplies, legions stalled. Its importance was so great that some historians trace the word salary back to salarium, an allowance given to soldiers specifically to purchase salt. It wasn't seasoning. It was power. Olive oil was the army's all-purpose tool. It was used for cooking, for preserving food, and for treating wounds. It protected skin from cold and served as basic hygiene. Transported in marked amphorae, it traveled with every legion, every campaign. Pliny the Elder and Vegetius both wrote about it. Not as a luxury, but as a military necessity. None of this happened by accident. Behind every marching legion was a network of soldiers dedicated not to fighting, but to feeding. They ensured water was available, rations were distributed, and every man had what he needed to keep moving. They carried no swords. But without them, the army would have ground to a halt. The Roman military diet was never lavish. It was deliberate. Every food, every preservation technique, every ritual around the table served a purpose. Survival, discipline, efficiency. That quiet mastery of logistics and nutrition was one of Rome's greatest and least celebrated. Weapons.